So before we get started this week, just wanted to quickly say, if you're in the LA area, this Saturday, come on down to the LA Street Food Festival at the Rose Bowl.
Don't you say hello?
No.
Welcome to the podcast.
Whatever.
Or anything like that anymore?
Whatever. No. We'll do that after this. This is
okay.
We get this out of the way.
Right out of the way.
Yeah, we get this out of the way. So we're going to be at the LA Street Food Festival at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena this Saturday, July 21st. Come on down. We're going to have stickers and T-shirts. Be hanging out.
Do you think I'll actually have the T-shirt before everybody else does?
I don't know. No, these are actually, we're going to have limited edition. These are like the first T-shirts we've ever made. It's very exciting. So if you're a fan, you live in the area, come on down.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And now, hello! Welcome. Yeah, hello! Pleasantry.
That's right. It's Food is the New Rock, the podcast with Zach Brooks. He's that guy over there from Midtown Lunch, and me, Chuck P. from KCRW.
And this week, we're pretty excited to have Marcus Samuelsson on the show, who you might know as, he won a little show called Top Chef Masters. No big deal. Beat a couple of chefs that you might have heard of.
Yeah. Several. I was stunned when he said yes, because he was the guy I was rooting for on the show, so I was really excited.
Because I don't know if you guys know this, but we're nobodies.
Pretty much.
And who cares?
Yeah.
But he...
Yeah, the new book is called Yes Chef, a memoir, and he's been out touring, promoting his book, and it's fantastic. It was really engaging read, and there's all kinds of music references all through it, stuff from Ethiopia, from his home in Sweden. It's all over the place, all over the map, and it's amazing.
More interesting than music references, it does tell his story as as an Ethiopian right. child whose mother died, and then he was adopted by Swedish parents.
Yes, the story is incredible. I was just wrapping it back into the music.
Right. Well, that's what the podcast is for.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
And we got to hang out with him in his hotel room, which was a little weird because he's busy, he's running around doing all sorts of stuff. But we had to get there early to set up, so they left a key for us downstairs, and we kind of walked in, and we were like in his hotel room, just hanging out before he got there, which is just kind of a weird feeling. I don't know if you've ever done that before.
I certainly haven't.
Hung out in a stranger person that you've never met before in their hotel room, just waiting for them to come back. Yeah. And they may or may not know you're there.
He's got some funny comments about it in the podcast.
Let's do it.
You're listening to the Food is the New Rock podcast.
foodisthenewrock.com.
And then just walked away sheepishly.
Yeah. Making it weird. It's great.
We're all about making it weird. We're all about hanging out in your hotel room while you're not here, and then just having you show up and be like, "Hi. Why are there a bunch of ugly dudes in my hotel room?
Why? How's the minibar in my room?"
It was wonderful. Actually, I went and looked for some Tums. I needed some Tums.
Minibar,
like
$75. Do I look like I'm in the minibar? I'm eating I've already eaten the nuts and the M&Ms. So expensive. I'm sorry.
But the other new move to do, if you're gonna be in dude's hotel room, is like an old rock and roll. Like this is a rock, music with. Have you ever destroyed another chef's hotel room? Have you done that?
No.
Are you saying,
offering? Right?
Yeah, I was about to say. No. Should we have been fucking shit up while you were thinking?
I just think that there's new ways if you're gonna do this thing. Is this gonna be a thing?
I don't know if you noticed when you walk in, but I was like in the corner. Like I was like, I don't know where to stand. Where does someone stand in another man's hotel room when he's not there?
I feel like we're having a whole new other piece here. There should be another.
Well, now to make you even more uncomfortable.
Yes.
I have to say, and I don't know if you'll let me take a picture of it and post it on my Twitter.
Oh, it should.
But you had all your clothes laid out on the this chair right here, and it's kind of. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna make you feel weird, but it's kind of like if you walked into like Elvis's hotel room and there were a bunch of like sequin jumpsuits like lying. It's like your amazingly fashionable wardrobe was like, it's like, oh my God, that's Marcus.
That's it.
Without Marcus inside of it. Like anybody who's, followed you or seen pictures of you or whatever. I mean, it's literally, you were right here in a giant pile.
But can we also explain this, that is, there's actually well-functioning wardrobe over there that I'm not using in any hotel room. It's kind of weird. Like I just have this thing I want to grab and go and I lay it out but it's nothing wrong with the hanger over there. I can't explain it even myself.
Well, yeah, no, we know that's empty because we went in there looking. We wanted to see it before.
Yeah. Who am I telling?
You don't mind, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. No, we know where all your stuff is.
Yeah.
Chuck was going through your stuff in the bathroom looking for. Well, you already met.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
So I feel I feel kind of weird. I mean, you have this new book out. Your life story is like the greatest, most unbelievable,
it really is,
like ridiculous story of all time. But we just want to know what kind of music you listen to.
Oh, good. But I do feel like there is a whole album to that.
Oh, nice.
Because when you talk about in the beginning, the wonderful Asteraweka and Gigi in terms of Ethiopian music, it's just drums and choirs. I love that. Asteraweka is very important in the Ethiopian community, and Gigi is a little bit younger, but there's all these Ethiopic jazz that came out in the 60s. Great music. And then as I land in Sweden, and it becomes a little bit more like ABBA-esque, and a little bit of Kiss. Yeah. First I drink, then I smoke. A little bit Detroit City. And then, of course, I talk about my sisters in the book. Couldn't have done it without David Bowie. We just listened to it. Actually, last night we did a dinner at Son of a Gun, and my music was playing. All the music that I was, grew up with was playing. And there was a lot of Bowie in there. China Girl to even Let's Dance and all that stuff.
Son of a Gun has amazing music.
Oh.
Great restaurant here in LA.
Great vibe.
And John and Vinny, I feel like, are huge music fans.
Absolutely.
Both of their restaurants have amazing music.
And it's fun. It's like, and it's B-sides. What I love about music is always the B-sides, right? So, and then, my first album that I ever got from my mom, that was my own. It wasn't my sister's. That was passed down, like my own LP. Was Uprising with Bob Marley. Oh. My mom just looked at me seriously. It's like, we listen to this.
That's amazing, because I feel like the first album my mom gave to me was Barbra Streisand's Greatest Hits. And as a 9-year-old boy, that's gonna make you weird.
But I can tell you, okay, so I can. The first girl I ever kissed is Olivia Newton-John on the Grease cover.
Oh, excellent.
So that was the first girl I ever kissed, and I was in awe, and I was like, who is this guy John? I don't even like him. But I loved Olivia. That was my girl.
Apparently, he doesn't like her either.
No,
so
no.
It's okay.
You thought it was like, but Peter, Bjorn, and John didn't come till 20 years later, so there's no reason for you to be confused by that. It's just one name.
It was Olivia was my girl, and then but music albums. That's the whole thing, right? Like in terms of style, I learned so much about when you turn around those albums, right, and you look inside. There was so much storytelling, but also the style, like these Jamaican dudes with leather jackets. And I asked my mom, it's not even cold in Jamaica. Why do they have leather jackets on? And it's like all this style that you start to develop. They have hats on, and it's so much of my style really comes from looking at musicians. So Fela, Old Marvin, David Bowie, Brian Ferry. I remember the first time that, I didn't even know that it was like, I remember the first time I saw a Boy George video. I was like, who is this? In school, it was like, is he a girl? Is he a guy? And we were divided, but we like his song. And it was like rivalry. Do we like Boy George or not? Big deal in Sweden in 1981. Big issue.
Imagining you fighting a bunch of little like Swedish kids. Yes. It doesn't seem fair. Over like
if Boy George was a girl or guy.
Right.
But it was a very important fight to have. Very important fight.
I was reading in your book that you had a Michael Jackson poster on your wall. You're a big fan?
Yes. Actually, today at my book signing, his photographer came up. And it was like a long time Michael Jackson photographer came to my book signing. Wow. And he showed me like real cool Michael Jackson pictures. And, it's just such a tragedy with Michael being so genius in music, obviously. And then, just have him gone. But I just loved his music. And also identity in sense of that, in Sweden as a black kid growing up, it was really we learned about black culture really through music or sports. And then came the Cosbys. And we had a rule in Sweden, in my house, in the Samuelsson house, that we had to, if there was ever black people on television, we had to call out to our mom, So it could be, it can go like, and I that's why for me it was better with dark skinned people because you knew they were black. But like if somebody was like light skinned, it could also be Italian. And then my mom's like, "Why are you calling me now? There's an Italian guy on TV." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, I thought he was black."
You weren't the only one. I think that was a rule for all Swedish households.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just in your family.
Okay. No, but it could go any direction because if it was Cosby, my grandmother came down and laughed, and everybody was in, right? And it was like Michael Jackson video was great. But then it could be maybe something happened in Africa or something sad happened. And it can go any direction. Then my mom and my grandmother started to cry. And it's like, so you have to be very sure of what, did you want to see the whole crying thing? But then I was also intimidated by if my mom would happen to walk by and there were black people on TV and I didn't call her out, then I would get hit. So it's like
she'd be mad at you.
Yeah, mad.
Why didn't you call me over?
Exactly.
It's a moment of personal pride.
Yes, exactly.
For all of us.
Yes.
Why did she want you to call her over?
Because she needed to know everything about black culture, right?
Okay.
But she could figure out how to do my sister's hair, what was in, if the jolly cloak would go this side, on that side.
Right.
It's all important stuff in the Samuelsson house. I feel like you don't understand. I feel like you're not down.
No, I'm understanding more now.
Yeah, good.
I wonder, is anybody going to download this podcast and not know who you are or your story? They're like, I don't understand what's going on here. I don't. What are you talking about? They just have no clue.
No, you have. Yeah, there's certain things that you had to. So then obviously we grew up with. There was two things going on. My sisters, both my older sister is 6 years older than me, so she always music-wise brought me into Frank Zappa, David Bowie, Brian Ferry, Blondie. So I got that in her room.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. You said your mom gave you because I feel like there's always somebody, like I didn't have an older brother. My mom listened to terrible music. So did my dad. He had a Gato Barbieri cassette in his car. I think is the only.
That's not bad, actually.
I mean, like I said, for a 9-year-old kid, Gato Barbieri, Barbra Streisand's greatest hits. You're growing up weird.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
So was your mom? Was your mom the one that gave you music? Like, was she the early? Like, what's your earliest memory, or was it your sister?
Well, no,
sister came later.
No, it was two things. My mom was definitely on us on music, and we had a Swedish middle class family, but we had a Bang Olufsen, right? Our sound system was sick at home.
Are you saying that you were a middle class family with a upper class sound system?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like that, she didn't care about cars. She didn't care about anything, but our sound system was fat.
Wow.
And it was even designed to the piece that the furniture was designed after the music system. It came one, it's like, Danish furniture with Danish, Bang Olufsen being Danish company. So it was all minimalistic and slick, almost like out of the Sean Connery movie. But we had our Bang Olufsen. And I remember when you put an LP on and you're like, and the music had to be, so she was Maria Makeba, Marvin, we got Stevie, of course, from my mom. One of my first concerts I ever went to was to see Stevie Wonder, Hotter Than July tour when I was 9 years old. And my sisters hated that fact that they had to bring me. My mom brought 3 tickets. She didn't even go, but like I got the chance to see Stevie, and it was amazing.
How old were you? When was this?
9.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Got to see. But my older sister was 16 at the time, so she's like, damn, do I have to bring him? She tried to be cute for some guys and like had to bring me.
That's how I felt with my 5-year-old brother when we went to see Wham and the Pointer Sisters. I was like, do we really have to bring him?
Wham!
That was my first concert.
Did George Michael open or did they open?
The Pointer Sisters opened.
Opened for George Michael.
Yeah. No, for Wham.
Yeah, but
I mean,
the guy,
but at the time,
nobody
knew at the time who. I mean, nobody really knew, or at least I didn't know as a 10-year-old. I just was going to see Wham.
Yeah.
But now looking back on it, I remember seeing his face up on the giant screen, the face that I now know as George Michael.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was just Wham. Like
but
I said, I was a weird kid.
That's a good double act. I've seen some amazing. I saw Terence Trent D'Arby and Simply Red as a double, a double ticket. I saw Van Morrison when I was in Switzerland. It's one of the best concerts I've ever seen. So
I saw Skid Row open up for Pantera. That's also a great double bill.
Yeah.
I just can't believe you guys reacted so well to Wham. This man just said that he saw Stevie Wonder when in the 60s?
No,
70s, 70s. I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm really bad at counting. 1981. You saw Stevie Wonder.
Absolutely.
No one should be excited to hear about Wham.
But the one that had the biggest impact on me is Prince. I saw Prince 3 times in Sweden, and he just took over town. I mean, when he came in, when the American acts are doing their stuff in Europe, it's not like here. It's like, okay, there's Prince, and then there's the Rangers game. You know, like it is Prince or Bruce Springsteen for the whole week for that nation. Wow. You know, they take over. The stars are so big, and Prince didn't only do his one set. Then he rented out another club, you know, where he did another thing, and it was just amazing. I remember that I got 2 tickets to see Sign of the Times. I brought my girlfriend at the time, and this big dude came over in the middle of the concert. Do you guys want to go and see Prince? Do you want to go to the after party? And I was like, yeah. And he looked at me like, not you.
Not you.
She can go. And I was like, well, we're not going. And she looked at me and said, no, I'm going. And that was all my savings for like 6 months.
The amazing part about that story is I've seen your wife. I'm guessing that's still happening to you today.
No, she's going. Exactly. I felt, but it was also one of those things where you felt like the man, like I'm going with my girl to the Prince concert. And you really couldn't afford it, right? You didn't have the clothes for it. You couldn't afford it. You couldn't do any of that stuff. But you were there, you know, rolling in, right? Not good tickets, but you were there, and you can figure this out. And then at the same night, fantastic concert. You're like, yes. And at the same night, the lowest ever of your Mackin career so far at 16 years old. I'm going. Big issues. Still got scars.
My 3.5-year-old son is incredibly jealous of you right now because he loves Prince.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we were watching Purple Rain this past weekend, and he was going nuts.
Really? He was watching
Prince.
Purple Rain with you?
Yeah, Morris Day and the Time, not so much. But Prince, he was all about Prince.
But I think it's because it's visual, right? Like it's so standing out.
No, actually, it started when he heard Little Red Corvette on the radio, and he was just like, I want the Little Red Corvette song. And he said over and over and over again. And then when Purple Rain was on the other day, I was like, you know who this is? This is the guy who sings Little Red Corvette. And he was like, oh, I like Prince. And then the next day, actually, I feel like my wife came in during one of the scenes at the end where like the guy gets like beat up or shot, and like she was like, "What are you watching? Why are you letting go through?" And I'm like, "No, it's Prince. It's Prince. He was just singing and dancing a second ago and kissing girls in a weird way that didn't look right."
We were doing great. You know, I have this whole idea at Ginny at a supper club at Red Rooster in Harlem. I have this idea where I want to bring back all those guys that played with Prince, like Sheila E. Knight, or like was it Vanity? Not Vanity Fair, but like Fair Six.
Yeah.
Like all of those
Vanity. I think she just went by that name.
Of course. What am I saying? Exactly, Vanity. But like all those people that were sort of like a, like Sheila Easton Knight, or like just take basically Prince band, right? And just put them in the basement and perform.
You could get Prince to play Ginny's.
Dude,
I think you could. I think you could.
I tell you, I have a dear friend of mine. He's a little bit older, but our first night when we had a big night at Ginny's, we had Roberta Flack to open, right? So he calls me up. You should close the place tomorrow. I said, why? It was amazing last night. I know that. Everything else from now will suck. And I'm like, yeah, that's one way to look at it. That was his way of saying that it was fantastic. I'm like, all right, thanks. I'm going to consider it.
Wow.
So you should tell. So Red Rooster is your newest restaurant in Harlem.
Yes.
And Ginny's is actually
underneath. Yeah. It's a supper club. And the whole evolution of Ginny is like in the beginning, we always wanted to do a supper club underneath the restaurant. We just couldn't afford it. Like there's no way. We built out this big restaurant, big kitchen, and we kept it open as a fun club where like old people could dance or eat, basically. No wallpaper. We painted it ourselves. You know, we did some artwork, and then as the year got along, it was like we said to our crowd, like, we will open a supper club. Give us 6 months. Give us six months, and then they just stuck with us. And we opened late April or May, and we felt like we have to celebrate this with some real stuff here. So we've had, so Roberta Flack, we called Roberta Flack, and she performed. She's just the coolest performer. She's like, no pictures. I'm going to entertain you now for an hour and a half. So be quiet in the bar, stay with me for an hour and a half, and me and my band's going to give you an amazing audience. an amazing performance, and she did.
And did you pay her with food or?
Yeah, I'm still paying. I'm still paying. But it's one of those things that that it doesn't matter. This is the coolest. This is like what we should be doing, and we've had some amazing acts after that too. We've had, we just had a young jazz musician, incredible Robert Glasper, Black Radio, incredible artist. We had. Jimmy Scott, 86-year-old legend.
Don't look at me. Chuck is the music geek. Yeah. He's the one that's gonna. I don't.
He's a big fan of jazz. Then.
Yeah. So Jimmy's been. We had a African Cuban band, Arturo, that came up and he did a whole song about about drum and beat in jazz and stuff like that. He had Japanese samurai jazz drummers, and it's all about making weird good music with weird good stuff. That for me should always have, that's the ingredients to a successful supper club.
Well, there's like an improvisational component to cooking as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, you kind of go in there with all your stuff, and then you start throwing stuff together.
Well, I think there's a lot of things that it's similar. There's a craft with a musician and a chef, and then there's a traveling aspect, and you have to connect to an audience. Mm-hmm. And then they know sort of your songs and your food, but then you can also go with the seasonality thing, the mood. So with you can't have a restaurant for me in Harlem without music, people, and great food. And that's now finally we are the restaurant we want to be. So it's cool.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say, a supper club in Harlem, that doesn't make any sense. What do those people know about supper clubs?
Yeah. No, it's amazing. The raw talent of the regular people just walking in and jumping on the mic, it's incredible. So we have artists that have arrived, of course, but then we also have a lot of locals that is coming up, and it's been just incredible to see all this talent come in, and now they have a home and they can perform. We've had but it's also about creating new experiences, unexpected Swedish music, Swedish hip hop, or African punk band, or you're just like unexpected stuff.
What are some contemporary artists that you're enjoying right now? Some new records?
Well, I'm completely in Robert Glasper's Black Radio. That is a great album. I'm excited about D'Angelo's new stuff, and I'm just excited about that he's finally coming back after 10 years. But then I go back. I can still listen to something that like that a lot of Swedish music, like folk, like because the storytelling there is a guy called Cornelius Rexvik. He died maybe about 10 years ago, but his songs now speaks to me because when you're a kid growing up and it's like, why is it so slow? But like now you appreciate that. So I listened to a little bit of that.
I thought you were gonna go with Ace of Base when you were talking about storytelling, and I was like, here it comes, Ace of Base, and then we'll lead, and then that'll lead right into Roxette.
The lead guy.
We're gonna talk about the good Swedish bands.
The lead kid in Ace of Base. We actually come from the same tiny town in Sweden.
Wow.
It is not. Yeah.
You got to be proud of that. You got to be proud of that.
Well, yeah. And then there was.
I was talking to Chuck beforehand, and I was like, we gotta think of a bunch of Swedish bands. I was like, do you know any Swedish bands? And he's like, Jens Lankman. I was like, no, dude, no. Roxette, Ace of Base. Our lists are completely different.
Yeah, but there is a great Swedish band out now, actually. It's touring in the States right now, really good, Little Dragon.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great band. Yeah. Come from my hometown, too, in Gothenburg.
Oh, no kidding.
And all the musicians, all the Americans, a lot of American musicians are completely in awe of them. And it's a trio. It's not a big band, but they came out with their album, I want to say, end of last year, maybe?
Yeah, they've got a new one coming out real soon.
Yeah. So they're good. And then I love this Spanish singer, Bueca. I just saw her in Highland Ballroom, and then she actually came up to sing at Red Rooster too. She's came up at my book party and grabbed the mic. I had a Cuban band, and she just looked at the guys. Shh, I'm gonna sing. That's it. Which is pretty cool for an artist. Like they're playing, it's their gig.
I'm starting to feel like. How long have you lived in Harlem?
9 years.
Oh, 9 years. Yeah. And is Red Rooster the first? That's the first restaurant you've opened in Harlem, right? Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm starting to feel like the whole thing, the moving to Harlem, opening Red Rooster, was really just an excuse to open up a supper club.
You're right.
Like, it was like
you're right.
literally like so you could have like people come and
Yeah,
sing and
yeah,
like hang out downstairs and
You're
listen to
so-
music and like
you're so right.
it's
You're
all
so
like,
right.
the whole thing's all bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
it's all
you don't
music.
care about Red Rooster.
Yeah.
Like serving food to Bill Clinton.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
who gives a shit? Like I just want to be hanging out in the basement of my restaurant
Oh my God.
listening to amazing music.
But we were blessed with music. Like, our first customer, Keith Richard. That's
Come
our
on,
first customer.
that's come
Ron
on.
Woods and Keith Richard, first customer.
No.
First customer. Well, our opening party was for Paul McCartney after he performed at the Apollo. So, we'll do that party. That's great. All vegetarian
Yeah,
party.
you should have closed after that party.
Yeah, exactly. That's when you get the phone call. But anyway, so the music had, and then a week after that, Pink Martini performed at the restaurant.
nice.
They took over the whole place and just performed. And it's just like Pink Martini for me. It's like the smartest, brightest. They sing in Turkish or Czechish or whatever they want to do, and it's just great.
Yeah.
And then musicians has always been core of the element of our clients and our guests and our friends.
Yeah, it sounds like you still get out to a lot of shows as well.
Well, not really, but I know what's going on, and then hopefully, I ask one of my guys to like, hey, can you make sure that they can come up?
And then those people come to him.
Yeah. But we're lucky. We have one of the guys that books for us is Andre from Wax Poetics,
Okay.
and so his music relationships are just deep. And just amazing. It's fun to have men in my hotel room. I like it. I think it should be a trade.
It's probably a
Tradition.
switch for you.
Yeah, it is. It's a step up.
These two lovely ladies
The
over
Turkish
here.
bath is over here, and yes.
Jack,
So
you first.
I'm trying to imagine. Were all these people hanging out at Aquavit also? Like, where you have a ton of? I mean, it's kind of weird. Is this kind of a new thing in the past couple years?
The music, no, always.
No, not that you love music, but I mean,
To have them,
hanging out with all these rock stars.
yeah,
and,
it is. It is. I've cooked for them before in different ways because a lot of the musicians they have fine taste. So, but before it was always this element, and I love music, but it would never been a venue for me to actually have them, participate. And so when we opened Rooster, I was just like, come on, Pink Martini's gotta. Hey, so we were lucky enough to get them, and they did it, and it's just been building off.
You know who else has got to do that? Prince.
There you go.
Prince.
Dude.
Listen, if you say it enough,
I can't even. I'm nervous even saying it. Like you have me here now because I'm nervous even. I mean, of course, I've been thinking like, oh my god.
I don't want to get you excited, but Prince listens to this podcast.
All right, he does.
No, that's a lie. I just made that up. No, of course he doesn't.
Because he's friends. But that's the best part of the whole thing. You had me. I was like completely leaning forward.
So, you do realize that in all of our press materials, it's going to be like, in quotes, Prince listens to this podcast, Chef Marcus Samuelsson. Like, listen, if you believe it, then it's true.
It is
I mean, the quote is correct.
Yes.